What's up, guys? Welcome to Raw Customs. I'm your host, Patrick Rapolo, and on this episode we are back on the Razor Armor, guys. Today we're going to be covering how to put together the Shin Armor. Even though these pieces are part of the Razor Armor, they are meant to be universal, guys, and I've spent a lot of time on these trying to design them so that they would fit across lots of genres, be able to fit lots of costumes, whether it's a sci-fi, a hero, a villain, whatever it is that you're working on. I'm hoping this piece can help complete your costume. So let's go over these a little bit, guys. These shins are probably the most universal piece that I've come up with so far. I've added in a few extra pieces to help you be able to change them up, to change the look, to help you match the costume that you're working on just a little bit more. So a few of the pieces that I've added. So your front center overlays here, the top, I have two different pieces. I got one with the circles, which matches the Razor Armor just a little bit better. And then I have some line pieces, which can work better, I think, with the tactical armor a little bit, or some hero style stuff. Your second lower piece here, I got one with some lines here, and then some with some circles going down, you know, just to help you change it up a little bit. I've also got a couple of pieces for the filler panel here, guys. I got the ones with some angled lines in it, and on this I've got more of a sci-fi futuristic design in it. And then I've also got a couple of circles which I haven't added to these. You'll see in the tutorial that you could use wherever you want on the piece itself. Now I do have a large and a small in these, guys. I would say if you're 5'10" or taller, I would go with the large. Any shorter than that, you might be looking at going with a medium. Now, part of the design in this is so that you'll be able to cut the back out a little bit and shrink it, and I have a nice filler panel to go over that to help you close the gap. Now, in my case, I actually added some Velcro so that I'll be able to separate it and just wrap it around a boot or something. But you could actually glue this completely solid if you want and be able to slide it on, as long as you're not putting it over a big boot or something. As far as holding it in place, I actually recommend putting some poly foam in here, and you can just glue that in with some hot glue and put it in however it helps fit your leg the best. However, I actually do like to wrap it around the bottom here, because that wraps around the ankle and it just feels more natural when I'm wearing it. As usual, guys, I have some kits, I have some templates. If you're interested in either one of those, you can head down to the description area below. You'll find some links there. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Now let's get to the video and put these things together. For this build, you'll need the kit or the templates. If you go with the templates, you'll need 4 sheets of 5mm EVA foam. For supplies, I recommend contact cement, Plasti Dip, spray paint, a heat gun, a rotary tool, a razor knife, optional airbrush, and some Velcro. In the kit, you have 2 base pieces for the back and a back center overlay. The overlay can be positioned with either end at the top and bottom. You have a front base piece and some options for your overlay. You have 2 pieces for your top center overlay to choose from, as well as 2 pieces for your center overlay. You have a set of fill panels, and these have a couple of options on designs as well. Here's a quick layout of how the pieces all come together. Start with your front base piece and the 2 top side overlays. Line up the overlay with the outside edge on your front piece. Then trace a reference line along your inside edges onto your base piece. Grab your bottom overlay and line it up with the bottom edge. Then trace along the top edge to make a reference line on your base piece. To bevel and round over the edges, I like to use a rotary tool with a grinding stone. On the side, make a half bevel from the top down to the reference line that you made for your overlay. At the bottom, start your bevel at the reference mark, working your way all the way to the bottom. When I say half bevel, I mean to make a bevel around 45 degrees, about half the thickness of the foam. On this kit, you don't need to do any beveling for assembly, the beveling is just for looks. You can finish off the piece by making a half bevel along the top edge. At this point, you'll want to select which overlay pieces that you're going to use. On your top, center, and side overlay pieces, make a half bevel all the way around the top edge. On the front top base piece, make a half bevel along the side and top. For the top center overlay, you have reference lines for the top and bottom. Line up your overlay with your reference lines, then trace along the side, making a side reference line. For glue, I recommend using contact cement. On the base piece, apply your glue inside your marked areas and along your reference lines. On your overlays, apply glue to your bottom surface area, then give the glue time to set up. This generally takes about 5 minutes but can change with temperature. But once the shine is gone, the pieces are ready to put together. Lay your bottom overlay in place, starting at one edge and working your way over to the other side. You'll want to keep the bottom edge flush. Once the bottom's done, you can lay in your two center pieces. Line up your side overlays with your outside edge and press in place. Next, line up the filler panel on the bottom of your base piece using the reference lines, and while holding it in place, flip everything over together. Now trace a reference line along the outside edge of your filler piece. Apply glue to the marked area on your base piece and along the reference line on your filler panel. Once your glue set up, you can line up your panel and glue it in place. Next, grab your back piece and line up the front along the reference line. Flip the two sections over as one and trace a reference line along the inside edge onto your front piece. Then apply glue to your marked areas along your reference lines. Press your pieces together, starting at the bottom and working your way to the top, keeping the edge lined up with your reference line. Then repeat the process for the other side. Now take the top piece, line it up underneath the front base piece at the top along the reference line. The inside detail lines that run up diagonally will line up on both pieces. Next, flip everything over and trace a reference line along the bottom edge. Apply glue to your marked areas. Once your glue's set, you can line up your piece and glue it in place. Next, get your heat gun and heat your piece on both sides. While you're heating it, make sure to watch your glued areas to see if you get any separation between the pieces. If any of the pieces start to come apart, just press them back together. As you heat the piece, you'll want to let it slowly roll into a cylinder. Once the back pieces can easily come together, you can overlap your back edges and roll the piece into a cylinder. At this point, you can work the piece in sections and reheat the areas that need more work. At this point, your goal is to make a nice uniform cylinder. Once you have your basic shape, hold everything together until it cools. Now it's time to size your shin armor. Put the shin armor on and overlap the back edges to fit the size of your leg. I recommend leaving it a little loose. Once you've made your adjustments, use some tape to mark the edge of the overlap. Now take a ruler and measure from the back edge over to the tape. Divide your measurement by 2 and then mark your center. You'll want to do that for the top and bottom. Once you have your 2 center marks, line up a straight edge between your 2 points and use a razor to cut off your extra. Then you can take your cut off piece, lay it on the other side to mark for the cut. Just make sure you have your piece laid out correctly before you make your cut. I actually messed up here and had the piece upside down. So I recommend marking your cut off piece for the top and bottom before you lay it onto the other side. On your back center overlay, go ahead and put a half bevel all the way around. Flip it over to the back side and use a ruler to mark center. Then line up the straight edge and mark a reference line down the middle. Heat the piece on both sides and then form it over something round from end to end. Here I'm using a piece of 2-inch PVC. Now line up one of the back edges with the center seam on the back overlay. Flip your pieces over together and trace a reference line along the outside edge of the overlay. Apply glue to the bottom surface area of the overlay along your reference line and to your marked area on the back of the shin guard. Allow the glue to set up and then press your pieces together. To hold the back of the shin guard together, you can use Velcro. Next, take your two top back overlays, heat them on both sides, and then form them over something round. Then line it up with the edge of the front base piece at the top edge, and trace a reference line onto the back base piece. Apply glue to your marked area and to the bottom surface area of your overlay. Then glue your two pieces in place. The kit also comes with a couple of circles that you could add to your project as well. The circles are extra pieces and can be used however you want. To prep the foam for paint, you'll need to seal it. I recommend using Plasti Dip. I like to apply 2 thin coats followed by 2 heavy coats. Once the Plasti Dip's dry, you can add your base paint. I like to do 2 light coats followed by 1 to 2 heavy coats depending on coverage. To add those extra colors and details, I like to use an airbrush. But you can always use paint brushes, paint pens, rags, or whatever it is that you need to get the kind of look that you're looking for. And I like to finish the paint job off with a clear coat.